Hello everyone, I'm Yunita Adrianti. For this video, I would like to explain the material development that I made before with the topic descriptive text. So the video duration will be quite long. I hope you will not be bored, and also you will not see my face on your screen because I want you to focus on the lesson plan that will be displayed. Well everyone, so we are going to start with descriptive text first. So this learning activity is for 11th grade students, which is the students of senior high school, and the topic is descriptive text with the learning model is project-based learning. And for the time allocation, so there will be 3 meetings for this topic, and each meeting spends about 90 minutes. For the learning media, we use laptop and LCD projector. So move to the learning objectives. There are 4 learning objectives. The first one is students can identify the structure and the language features in descriptive text by observing the example given previously. The second one is students can describe the description of people, animals, and places by mentioning them verbal or non-verbal based on the context of the proper use correctly. The third one is students can write descriptive text about the description of people, places, and animals by describing their inspirational figure, favorite place, and lovely pet correctly based on the proper structure and its language features. And finally, students can present their descriptive text about people, places, and animals that have been packaged in the form of wall magazine by showing their project fluently. So let us move to the learning activity. For the first meeting, it spans about 90 minutes. For the pre-activity, as usual, the teacher greets the students and then they pray together. The teacher can ask one of the students to lead the prayer or the teacher lead the prayer. It is depend on the teacher. And then the teacher checks the student attendance. And finally, the teacher gives a perception related to the topic. So the perception can be done by giving a question to one of the students, like, John, are you good friends with Jack? Can you describe the physical characteristics of Jack? So John can maybe answer, Jack is a tall boy, he has long hair, or etc. And then the teacher goes to, so everyone, from the description of Jack, from John, do you know what we are going to learn today? And then the teacher goes to the main activity. So in the main activity, students observe several examples of descriptive text displayed by the teacher. The teacher gives some examples of simple descriptive text that are displayed on a laptop with a projector. Descriptive text that are displayed are about the description of place, description of person, and description of pet. So here are the examples. This is the example of description of place, and then description of pet, and description of a person. And then Students identify the structure and language features of the descriptive text based on the examples given. So the teacher will not directly explain about the definition of descriptive text or the language features and the structure, but to check their understanding, the teacher let them to ask a question about what they don't understand from the example that already given, and then the teacher will ask the other students to answer their friend's question. For example, one student maybe uh, doesn't understand about the structure of descriptive text, so the teacher will ask the other students to explain based on their understanding. And then the third one, the teacher asks essential questions that aim at exploration of the knowledge that students have based on their learning experiences, in which this essential question will lead to the task in conducting an activity. The teacher can make several questions like, is there a figure that inspires you? Who is he or she? If no one can answer the question, the teacher can give a clue like okay, like me, the person that inspires me a lot is Joko Widodo, which is the president of Indonesia. What about you? And then the students will answer the question, maybe their favorite artist, their favorite singer, or etc. And then the teacher goes to, what is the difference between the figures that inspires you from the others? In this stage, they will describe their inspirational figure by mentioning their characteristic. And then the teacher goes to, okay, what about the place that can give you a lot of inspiration, like the person that already mentioned before? Do you have one? So here the students will answer their favorite place. Again, if no one can answer, no one will answer. So the teacher can give clue like, okay, for me, the most favorite place that can give me inspiration when I stay in that place is my office, because my office can give me a lot of inspiration. And then after the students mention one by one about their favorite place, the teacher goes to, why do you choose that place? And then the students will describe the place by mentioning the characteristic of that place. And after that, the teacher asks a question about their lovely pet. So, like, that's about your inspirational figure and favorite place. But have you ever heard that when you have a pet, it can cause happiness for you, like when you see your inspirational figure or when you go to your favorite place? Then do you have a pet like that? For example, like the most friendly animal in this world, like a dog. Then the students will answer one by one about their lovely pet if they have a pet, and then the teacher goes to what makes your pet special. It means that the teacher wants them to describe the pet, their pet, their cat or their dog by mentioning its characteristics. So, from those essential questions, the teacher will give a project to the students. The teacher The teacher gives a project of descriptive text in the form of wall magazine about the description of their inspirational figure, favorite place, and lovely pet. The teacher gives a project to students to create a wall magazine which contains a description of their inspirational figures, favorite places, and their lovely pets. So that's about the first phase, which is asking essential questions. And for the second phase is designing project planning. So in this stage, students are divided into heterogeneous groups, which consists of 5 to 6 students in each group. So one group must determine one inspirational figure, one favorite place, and one lovely pet. Then they will make a simple descriptive text about them. Descriptive text will be handwritten and then will be displayed on the wall magazine based on their creativity. Then the teacher facilitates each group to determine the person in charge or the group leader democratically and describe the tasks of each group member. The students and teacher also discuss the types of activities that are relevant to the project plan. So the teacher helps each group to determine the tasks of each group member. For example, two students will be responsible for compiling descriptive text about inspirational figure. Two students will be responsible for compiling text about the description of favorite place, and the rest will be responsible for compiling the description of a lovely pet. And also all group members have the responsibility to make the wall magazine layout. So that's about the second phase. Move to the third phase, which is creating schedule. So the teacher facilitates the leader and group members in creating work schedules, determining the time duration and the target achievements of each activity. And each student makes a learning journal about each activity carried out about the project. So the project carries out in 3 meetings. The first and second meetings focused on writing the description text. At the second meeting also, students can start making the wall magazine layout and designing their wall magazine. Thus, the third meeting only focused on the presentation, and the students note the information they get in the learning journal. They also note the progress of their project, what they do at each meeting, and the obstacle or the problems they found. And for the fourth phase, it is monitoring students and the progress of the project. So the group leader asks about the progress of the group members and notes the obstacle found. And for the second activity in this stage, the teacher monitors the progress of the project by checking the learning journal and their work. So the students write what they got, what information they got in the learning journal. For example, today's meeting, I learned about the structures of descriptive text, and then etc. And the student activity in groups. Each student in the group find out the information about the inspirational figure, favorite place, and lovely path that will be described from various perspectives such as physical description and the others. And also the students compile information in simple descriptive writing in the form of a draft. So at the first meeting, students find out the information related to what they want to describe, whether it is on the internet, books, and magazines, and then they arrange those information in the form of draft. So in this stage also they discuss about what they want to describe, the figure, the place, and the pet. Move to the post activity in the first meeting. So the teacher asks the difficulties that students face during the learning process, and then the teacher asks students to continue the project in the next meeting, and then the teacher and student pray together, and after that the teacher closes the learning. And at the end of the lesson, when the teacher asks students to continue the project in the next meeting, the teacher asks the students to continue the project at the next meeting, but students are asked to prepare pictures that are relevant to the description text, as well as the elements of the wall magazine needed. They will bring all of this in the second meeting. So for example, one group will describe about their inspirational figure. Take the example Joko Widodo. So they will prepare the picture of Joko Widodo, or they can draw by themselves. It is depend on the students, and then they will bring the elements of wall magazine in the next meeting, in the second meeting. So move to the second meeting, which spans 90 minutes also. For the free activity, as usual, the students greets the teacher greets the students, and then they pray together. Then the teacher checks the students' attendance. After that, the teacher gives ice breaking for the students. So the ice breaking given in the pre-activity is in the form of a riddle. The rules of the game are each group will come to the front of the class in turn with the other groups. But before starting the riddle, each group that comes to the front of the class must share the problems or obstacles they found during the project making process with all the students and the teacher. Then the teacher will note their problem and then she or he will keep that problem or obstacles. Then one of the group representative take a lottery which contains the name of the character that the other group will guess. For example, Rizky Fabian, Agnes Monica, or etc. If all members of the group already know what character is mean, then the teacher gives them 2 minutes for the discussion, and then they begin to convey a clue by describing the character given in turn. Maybe they describe about the physical characteristic, their favorite food, drink, or etc. And then while they convey the clue, the other groups will listen and guess the character. For example, the character is Agnes Monica, so they will um, listen to the clue about the description of Agnes Monica, and then they will guess who is he or she. Then the teacher only gives 5 minutes to each group to give a clue, to give some clues, I mean. If no one can answer, then the other group must provide suggestion and or solution to the problems or obstacle experienced by the group uh, in front of the class. So when no one can answer, the other group must give solution to that group, to the group who give the clues of the character. So yeah, this ice breaking is aimed to reduce their boredom because they learn the same material in 2 weeks. Besides that, the teacher can also see how far the students are able to describe someone. So the teacher can see their understanding about descriptive text, because in this ice breaking they describe uh, the characteristics of the character given. And also with this ice breaking, students can build a sense of solidarity and also problem solving. Okay, uh, I already tried. I already tried to find out the illustration of this ice breaking, but I didn't find anything. So I'm so sorry I don't give you the illustration of this ice breaking. I hope you can clearly understand about the ice breaking that I made. So move to the main activity. The first page, second page, and the third page were done in the first meeting, and then move to the fourth page, which is monitoring student and the progress of the project. So in this stage, the group leader asks about the progress of the group member and notes the obstacle found. So the group leader will ask their friends what they got, how far their project, how far they already make the draft, or etc. And the teacher monitors the progress of the project by checking the learning journal and their work. So the teacher also monitors the students and then asks about the obstacle they found, or the problem they found, and then the teacher will give a solution or suggestion for them. Then okay, because they compile the information they got in form of the draft. So in the page 5, which is assessing result, the students check their friends draft in one group or peer correction by marking parts that are considered incomplete and unclear. So other students in one group are asked to check the draft that has been made and mark things that are incomplete or unclear. So for example, the students who are responsible to make the descriptive text about inspirational figure will check the draft of the students who are responsible for compiling the description of favorite place and etc. So the teacher also rechecks the draft and gives feedback to each group. The teacher checks the draft again to ensure the quality of their writing before finalization. So after this phase, and then they move to the fourth phase, back to the fourth phase, in which after peer correction, students can develop their draft into paragraph of descriptive text based on the revision that have been made by uh, their friends and uh, the, the teacher. So here, the student activity in group, student write down the descriptive text from the draft made. So I mean the final paragraph of descriptive text. And then after that, uh, they also start to make a wall magazine layout with elements they had prepared at home. Then each group finally finalized the wall magazine. I hope it is clear. And then in the post activity, the teacher asks the difficulties that students face during the learning process. And also the teacher and students pray together, and then finally the teacher closes the learning. So that's about the second meeting. Well, so we move to the third meeting, or the last meeting of this topic, which spans 90 minutes also. So in the pre-activity, as usual, the teacher greets the students and the students greet the teacher and they pray together. After that, the teacher checks the students' attendance. And for the first phase until the third phase in the main activity were done in the first meeting, and the fourth phase, which is monitoring students and the progress of the project, was done in the first and the second meeting. So we move to the fifth phase, which is assessing the results. So the teacher checks each group's wall magazine. So the final result of their wall magazine, and then each group presents their wall magazine in front of the class. So each group shows their wall magazine in front of the class by presenting their descriptive text briefly about the inspirational figure, their favorite place, and also their lovely pet. And then the other students will listen and give comments, also suggestion about their friends' project and the performance. So we move to the last phase, which is evaluation. In this stage, teachers and students reflect on the activities and results of the project that have been carried out individually or in group. So the teacher and students reflect on learning. They evaluate the project making process, such as the obstacle they face while during the process of project making, I think. So they share what they get during the three meetings or during their progress in making the project. They also can share about their feeling when toward their work or their effort when they work in a group or with their friends. So that's about the main activity. And then the post activity, the teacher and students conclude and clarify the lesson that has been done together. And then the teacher and students pray together, and after that the teacher closes the learning. So when the teacher asks students to conclude and clarify the lesson, the teacher can ask about their understanding of descriptive text. And after that, the teacher also can give such what is that reinforcement, positive reinforcement toward their hard work. So that's all about this lesson plan about descriptive text.